Yo, what up? Welcome to today's video. So in this video, we're gonna be making a little bit of front-end AERO progress on the car and installing what is now technically somewhat of a rare part, which is crazy to say because I remember these used to be pretty widely available, but what we're gonna be doing is giving the car a little bit of a facelift and installing a genuine AP2 front lip spoiler on the car. So as far as I know, this part is technically discontinued, which is pretty crazy to say because not too long ago, you could order this exact front lip spoiler as well as a lot of other accessories for the S2000, and you could get them pretty much anywhere. You don't have to go to your local plug, you don't have to get them from like a specialty shop. You could actually just order them from pretty much any dealership or like wholesale, like kind of distribution website, and you would get them. But that's definitely not the case anymore. I think there are a lot of these probably just kicking around on people's shelves, you know, people's like stashes and that type of thing. Maybe in the corner of like some old dusty dealership that hasn't done inventory in a long time, that type of thing. But they are getting harder and harder to find. So that's kind of the sad truth about like aging sports cars. And the S2000, maybe not so much from like a performance standpoint, but from like, you know, OEM support, is starting to show like its age a little bit. Okay, so here's a first look at the spoiler itself. So hopefully you can kind of get an idea for what it's gonna look like installed. So as you can see, the design really kind of adds weight to the sides of the front fascia of the car. So it kind of just gives it bigger cheeks, if that makes sense. So this spoiler actually came installed on the car when I bought it super long time ago, but I pulled it off for a couple of reasons. So the first one being I didn't have the rear deck lid spoiler on the car. Actually, I'm lying. It did have a rear deck lid spoiler, but it was a replica piece. So I pulled it off and I threw it away. But I didn't have the original, so I was like, I don't really like the front face weight to it. Like the nose of it just felt a little heavy to me, so I pulled it off because I actually am a big fan of like the stock bodied look on the S. I like how they look with just kind of stock body, no aero or anything. So I'm a big fan of that sort of aesthetic. But for this part of the build, we're actually going to be putting together the optional OEM AERO package for like the OEM Plus theme of like this first stage of what I'm putting together. I think it would be really cool to kind of complete that package, and it's something I've always wanted to do. So this part will be the first step in making that happen. And yeah, it's in pretty rad condition overall. Hopefully you can see that there are no real cracks or anything like that. So, I mean, it's really solid condition for being a front lip spoiler, considering these usually get beat to squat. So no crazy cracks or anything. We have one imperfection kind of on the underside. And a quick little Easter egg, when I pulled this guy off, I was super surprised to know that they didn't even use all of the double-sided mounting tape entries. So a lot of this stuff is unused. So that's gonna make it a little bit easier to install, although it was really solid even with just these kind of corner spots being used. So I'm not sure if I'm gonna go through the trouble of pulling those off because, spoiler alert, no pun intended, I am going to be pulling this off the car again at some point because we're going to get the car painted at some point. So yeah, kind of a low commitment scenario, but I do want to get it bolted up for right now. So the first step I think is going to be to get this cleaned up. All right, cleaning it on the table that's not the move. So the lip cleaned up pretty nice. I'm actually gonna take a clay bar to it because there are a couple of patches of like dirt and debris that didn't really want to come off. Hopefully you can see on camera, but like see, like this is clean, but there are a few little spots here that just won't come off. So hopefully the clay bar is what we need. Done with my first pass clay barring the front spoiler. So this top side I already did, and it's like really smooth. If you listen to that. This bottom side has a little bit of drag to it. Hopefully you can like maybe kind of make it out, but like really you can see it. See like those kind of like watermarks? Like those aren't coming off, so. Okay, so I think I'm pretty much done wiping it off. The clay bar really went a long way in cleaning it up and really kind of getting the white to come out from underneath the dust and stuff, but this is what it should look like. So it has a little bit more body to it now that we have all of like the nastiness sort of lifted up off of the surface. So you really kind of get to see sort of that it's kind of a hunky piece for the most part. Like it's not enormous, but it's definitely not small, right? It's definitely not like one of those little weird guys that sits underneath the bumper. Like this is actually like a full lip that covers a portion of the bumper. So it's pretty cool. Quick moment of silence for my clay bar that I've literally had for years. I might have had, I think I've literally had this guy for like 5 or 6 years. I still have literally half the clay bar. So Meguiar's clay bars, dude, seriously just lasts the most silly amount of time. I've like never had to replace one yet. So I wanna make sure we have all the hardware before we move forward. And I found this little bag in my stash. It literally says OEM lip hardware, which sounds like what we need, but I'm gonna go through it to double check to make sure we have everything that we'll use. Okay, so we have 4 10 mils and the appropriate nut. We have a couple of self tappers, again with their little nut on them. And then we have a couple of these like little plastic bits. So that seems right. I'm not sure if this comes in a kit or not, so I don't have a part number to give you, unfortunately. So next, I'm actually gonna be wiping off the front bumper on the car because I don't want any dust or debris sitting in between it and the lip itself. Those little adhesive points that I mentioned earlier, we're not gonna be using all of them because I know that we're gonna pull the lip off in the future for paint. So I'm gonna try to save those if I can, but we are gonna be using the mounting hardware, so it's gonna be a secure fit. I'm also gonna roll the car onto some blocks to get a little bit more clearance underneath the bumper. I don't think we're gonna have to jack the car up, but some wooden blocks should give us what we need. Posted a couple of photos on Instagram and I'm looking through my messages and dude reply to story, 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 dude. Okay, so U-nuts are in. Hopefully you can see them. There's one right there and there's one right there. Same on this side, we have one right there and then we have one again on the far side. I'm pretty stoked that we were able to source this exact hardware. So I forget honestly where I got it. I know that I bought it new, but I'm not 100% sure where I got it from. But I'm stoked that we're using the right stuff because as you can see, this bumper actually has a really narrow cutout for this specific U-nut. So it's just cool knowing that we're using the exact stuff. So one thing I am a little stoked on is that this bumper has a little bit of paint cracking on it. Which is nothing to be stoked on, but the lip itself is gonna cover up just a little bit of it, I think, or I hope anyway, but looking forward to a small improvement there. The double-sided tape on the lip that we used previously is still a little tacky after all this time, believe it or not, so that might actually do something for us, which is rad. What's also pretty good luck is that the gasket on the lip itself is also pretty intact for the most part, nothing really to complain about. We're going to be reusing this because, as I mentioned earlier, we're going to be repainting the lip down the line. And the gasket is pretty functional for the most part, no major rips or anything like that. So we're going to try to install it without destroying it. Okay, so we have most of the hardware pretty much set up, so I think we're good to actually throw the lip on the car finally. Oh, yes! Wow, yeah! Dude, this thing looks so sick. Yes! Yes, dude, this thing looks cool. Yes, this thing looks so sick. Wow. Dude, yes, this thing is sick. Dang, the hood looks so sick. What? Dude, this thing looks so sick. Yes. Oh, dude. Oh, and the lighting. Oh, it's like really good daylight right now and like the sun is like almost setting, so like the hood vent looks gnarly. Oh, it really kind of makes the hood stand out more. I don't know if that makes any sense, but like a little bit more action on the bottom side really balances the top. Yes, dude, that looks super cool. Oh man, I'm like, Pulled over for a side to grab some photos and I found this like little spot, whatever, and it just looks, I don't know, it looks cool. Like the sun's like coming in all cool from behind me, hitting the car right in front. So let me show you. Yeah! Oh, this thing looks sick! Ah, this thing looks dope! Yes, dude. Yeah, I like the, I don't know how to explain it, like the, kind of like that sweeping little curve at the bottom of the lip. I think really kind of brings out the curves on the top side of the hood. I think they're kind of like speaking the same language, if that makes sense. At the very least, they're traveling in the same direction, which is a cool thing. So I don't know. I don't know. I'm happy with the way that this thing turned out. Super clean, dude. Yeah. I mean, what more can you really ask for? You know what I mean? So, give you a quick little zoomed out view. Maybe even, I don't know, kind of walk the perimeter. The shadow. Super happy with this thing. Needs a wash, that's for sure, but little things, man, little things here and there. We're on the way, we're working on it. Okay, so I think this is the end of the video, so thank you for checking out this super quick install if you did. Thank you for making it all the way this far into the video if you did. If you get any enjoyment out of watching these videos or any of the updates on the car, please consider sharing this video with someone that might be interested. I get so much enjoyment and like fulfillment out of watching the channel grow, and the channel has been growing lately at a very slow rate, but it is growing, and that's all that matters. So I know that a lot of this stuff isn't rocket science, but I try to drop little bits of knowledge here and there with a little bit that I do know, so I hope that you appreciate it. I hope it's well received, and yeah, so again, more small updates on the way. Until next time.
Before we go any further, as you call them, they call you when they need.
Yo, what up? Thank you for making this far into the video if you did. If case this is your first time making it to the end of this video, welcome, because at the end of videos is like kind of like where it all goes down for me. That's like really where I get to like share like some of the coolest things, I think. At the end of videos, I very regularly just kind of like drop like little songs that maybe I'm listening to lately, or I'll like kind of share a quick set of notes or thoughts that I'm kind of thinking of, usually related to like me or related to like the channel, just kind of whatever's on my mind. So if that is interesting to you, if you like kind of like the behind the scenes type stuff, if you like the one-on-one, then I encourage you to stay towards the end of videos, because that's where I try to drop that type of stuff, and it's like really, really cool to me. Yeah, so anyway, I wanted to get in at the end of this video in person, not really in text, because I just wanted to say thank you, dude, if you've been here since the beginning. If you're new, I want to thank you just as much, because we're about to hit 500 subscribers, and dude, it's been so hard, like the learning curve. I talk a little bit about this on Instagram and stuff, and it's been so freaking difficult, dude. Like the like editing, timing, it's hard, dude. This is really hard. Some people make it look so easy, and I'm here to tell you that it's not easy, but it's worth it. And I'm at a point in my life where like nothing makes me happier than like you know, watching that number grow. And it's not even about the number, because you know the number growing is just a byproduct of like everything else that happens around it. Like some of the people I've been able to meet this year, some of the friends I've been able to make, some of the like opportunities that have I don't want to say presented themselves, but like are standing, you know, kind of on another level, but I can see from where I'm standing now, are just really, really cool and really, really special. And it's like, it really is truly what I want to do with life. So anyway, I just wanted to get in front of you and tell you that it's like, it's happening, dude. Like this is a real flipping thing. Like I'm in it, dude. So again, if you've made it this far in the video, thank you, dude. I'll probably be dropping more little things, like just kind of quick conversations just like this one at the end of videos more regularly. So if you're into that, please continue to stay. Again, thank you for watching. I will see you in the next one.